In the equities quadrant today, taking a look at the March Nasdaq, which led all indices. It had another new all-time intraday high, and we have now hit 6% above the old all-time intraday high of 2021. By the end of today, we will also be higher on a closing basis from the previous all-time high close of 2021 by somewhere in the range of 6.67%. The Nasdaq has now risen for 5 straight sessions, and it's working on its 3rd consecutive week higher, hitting the midpoint of the week up about 1.29%. The high today, 17,793.50, was up 1.5%. The low, 17,552.25, was a small gap higher from yesterday's close by about 12 basis points, or a little bit more than 0.1%. Now, as I mentioned, the Nasdaq was the strongest index today, leading the Dow, the S&P, and the Russell by a wide margin, and part of that reason was Netflix earnings. Netflix reached a new all-time high in terms of subscribers, helping the tech rally in general, with the stock starting over 7% in the pre-market this morning and the post-market yesterday. That's up over 7%, and was still up 11.7% as we hit the final hour of the trading session. Now, we do have Tesla releasing earnings today after the close, and that'll have something to say as well about the direction of tech, but likely won't erase all of the Netflix gain on the tech sector unless the earnings are completely disastrous, which is a low probability event. We also had U.S. yields affecting the markets. U.S. Treasury yields started the day negative, which helped push the Nasdaq up 1.5%, but turned positive later in the session, being up between 3 basis points on the 30-year and 7 basis points on the 2-year, and that's likely why the Nasdaq actually finished off of its highs. Otherwise, with such a strong performance by Netflix and others, likely the Nasdaq would have stayed at that all-time high, except for that Treasury yield rally that we saw.